give you an example here of what can happen in the gradebook. Let's say this is midterm and you look down this make-believe class and it looks like every single student is getting an A. But if you start to notice, you notice that our guest student only has 208 out of 210 points while everyone else has 450. Well, the reason is, if I open my guest student here, wherever these asterisks are, that means that the student did not do that assignment. But if there's an asterisk, that means that the grade book is treating that as if it wasn't done. So it is not averaged in. So if I want to average that grade, you actually have to put a 0 there. So I'm going to give this guest student in this make-believe class a 0 for those assignments that they failed to complete. Okay, got another one here. So I'm just going to put zeros in these places where those asterisks were. So now this is included in the grade. See, what happens is at midterm time, the student says, well, look, I'm doing really well. I don't need to worry about anything. But then when the instructor decides at the end of the semester, well, I guess I better put those zeros in there. Now we're down to a 69% already. So the student who looked like they were getting an A, when the instructor finally decides, hey, it's time to put zeros in, then you're starting to see that the grade is definitely not an A and it's actually not passing. I wanted to make another point about probably the best way to handle this is when you're checking an assignment, as you check it, anyone who did not do it and now it's past due, you put a 0 in there and save your changes. And that lets you know that you've checked that. If there are zeros for students, that means, you've checked the essay, you've checked everything, and that's exactly what that student is going to receive. So now that student who looked like they were getting an A at midterm, now if you go to your grades to date, you see that my guest student has a 46.22%. So it's extremely important. One is, as soon as the due date is present, it's passed, you need to get in there and check. And anyone who didn't complete the assignment can have zeros. Now, if you're going to give credit for someone doing the work later, you can go back and change that 0. But if a student sees a 0, they will contact you and say, well, I did that assignment, or whatever, and maybe it was in the Dropbox and you missed it, or maybe they forgot to do something. But you can figure that out. But you'll get an action from that student when you put the 0 in. So you need to do that as things are due. So, try to plan on checking. I always try to make my things due when I know I'm going to have time to check the next day. So if they're due on Monday, I know Tuesday I have time to check, so I can get that checked and put the zeros in. And the student can always see that what they see when they enter the gradebook, grades to date, should be as current as you can make it. So please take the time to put the zeros in so the student knows exactly what their grade is. We would much appreciate it. Thank you.